a step without knowing the destination. In a moment of panic, my moment is panic, I take a step without knowing the destination. Will I falter? Will I fall? Will the ground sink away? Will I falter? Will I fall? Will the ground sink away from under song still unformed? How can I sing? The song still unformed, how can I sing? Of the moment before rain comes down, there's a deep sigh in the quiet of the forest and the tall trees' crown. Now hold me, will you take the time to hold me and embrace the chill? Miss me, will you take the time to miss me when the earth stands still? 'Cause there's no use running, 'cause the storm's still coming, and you've been running for so many years, for so many years. Silence of the moment before shadows fall, feel the tremor of your heartbeat, matching heartbeat, as we both dissolve. Now hold me, will you take the time to hold me and embrace the chill? Or miss me, will you take the time to miss me when the earth stands still? 'Cause there's no use running, 'cause the storm's still coming, and you've been running for so many years. So stay with me, held in my arms like branches of a tree. They'll shelter you for many years, so many years. Stay with me.
Please be seated. Well, first, I'd like to begin by asking for another round of applause for Royal High School's Wind Ensemble, the Santa Susana Advanced Women's Choir, and the Abbey Road a cappella group for that great beginning today's program, as well as the Tiger Squadron for the flyover earlier this morning. Thank you so much. My name's John Heibush. I have the honor of being the executive director of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute. Thank you all for coming out on this windy morning. Let's get started with the Ronald Reagan Marine Corps League Detachment number 597, who will parade the colors. I ask that you please stand for the colors and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and our national anthem. Parade the colors. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave, home of the brave.
Retire the colors. Thank you. Please be seated. Before we go further, there are a few people in the audience I'd like to make sure that we recognize this morning. A special thank you to Lisa Pate and Bevan Abbey for providing today's terrific musical performances, and to Paul DiNobilo and the Washington Artillery of New Orleans for their great reenactments in the courtyard this morning. I'd also like to thank the Naval Mobile Construction Battalion for bringing out their military vehicles for this morning's event. I want to say hello to Michael Reagan, the son of President Reagan. And of course, a special thank you to all of the veterans in our audience today. We thank you for your honorary, your bravery, and your dedication to our country and its freedoms. We salute every one of you. In 1986, President Reagan said, and I quote, "On Veterans Day, we take respite from the ordinary business of daily life to pay honor to those who have served in the armed forces throughout our nation's history. It is right that we should meditate upon the principles for which so many Americans have fought: peace, freedom, the sacred and inviolable dignity of all men, principles that still give hope to the nation. But let us, above all, consider the veterans themselves, the millions of men and women who have given of themselves, even of their lives. In honor of these men and women, those who are currently fighting, those who are missing still, those who have perished, and those who are veterans, may I ask for a moment of silence. I also ask that you consider at this time those close to us at home, victims of the terrible massacre in Thousand Oaks nearby, as well as those who have lost a loved one at home or in these ravaging fires. Thank you. Now, to today's program. Our speaker today, Hershel Woody Williams, is a remarkable man. He was born on a dairy farm in 1923 in Quiet Dell, West Virginia. He enlisted in the United States Marine Corps and served as a demolition sergeant in the Battle of Iwo Jima with the 21st Marines, 3rd Marine Division. On February 23rd, 1945, while fighting against enemy Japanese forces, Corporal Williams volunteered his services. U.S. Marine tanks were maneuvering vainly to open a lane for the infantry through a network of reinforced concrete pillboxes, buried mines, and black volcanic sands. He daringly went forward alone to suppress devastating machine gun fire from Japanese positions. Covered by only 4 riflemen, he fought desperately for 4 hours under terrific enemy small arms fire. He repeatedly returned to his own lines to prepare demolition charges and obtained serviced flamethrowers, struggling back frequently to the rear of hostile emplacements to wipe out one position after another. On one occasion, he mounted a pillbox to insert the nozzle of his flamethrower through an air vent, killing the occupants and silencing the gun. On another, he charged enemy riflemen who attempted to stop him with bayonets and destroyed them with a burst of flame from his weapon. His unyielding determination and extraordinary heroism in the face of enemy resistance were directly instrumental in neutralizing one of the most fanatically defended Japanese strong points encountered by his regiment and enabled his company to achieve its objective. Corporal Williams' devotion to duty throughout this battle, his commitment to his fellow service members, and his heroism were recognized on October 5th, 1945, when he received the Congressional Medal of Honor from President Truman at the White House. Woody is the sole surviving Marine from World War II to wear the Medal of Honor. Since 2010, this extraordinary man has set out to educate and raise awareness in the American public about Gold Star families and the sacrifices they've made for the freedoms we enjoy every day. For those very few here are not aware, a Gold Star family member is someone who has lost a loved one during their service to our great nation. Later today, along with the Reagan Library's good friend, Gary Sinise, and Woody Williams, we will be unveiling a Gold Star Families Memorial on the grounds of the Reagan Library within a stone's throw of President and Mrs. Reagan's gravesite. All of you are invited to attend at 3:30 if you can. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce to you Hershel Woody Williams.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John, and thank all of you. Thank you for being here. I like that California welcome. Wow. But let me say right off that the medal I wear around my neck, I have said since I finally realized the significance of it, never having heard of it at the day that President Truman presented it, I'd never heard the term Medal of Honor. I had no idea why I was receiving it. The citation that comes with each Medal of Honor, outlining the duty that that person performed, I had never heard before. It was read at the time that the president was to present the medal. It was just a medal. After I realized the significance of it, I realized I could not have received this Medal of Honor had I been alone. There's one word in my citation that had they come to me and said, "Do you approve of what we're saying?" There's one word in there that I would have removed. It says, "He went forward alone." No, I didn't. I had 4 Marines who were selected to protect me, to assist me in doing the job for which I had been trained by the United States Marine Corps. 2 of those individuals that day sacrificed their lives protecting me. And when I finally realized that and received that information, from that day forward, I have said that I am just the caretaker of the medal. It belongs to them. They sacrificed their life for my protection. So I wear it, I keep it shined for them. Probably, well, without doubt, we have no World War I individuals in this room. Maybe we have some spirits. But we're observing that 100 years. To most of us, it really has no meaning because we weren't there. Some of us may have had, and probably have had, loved ones that participated in that war and never got home. But I'm reasonably certain that I'm not the only World War II guy in here, the old fellows. So I'm going to ask, if I may, that all World War II guys please stand so we can thank you for your service in the war and recognize you. So, World War II. Thank you. Thank you very much. Naturally, no war could be won without sacrifice of others. Every day in our lives today, there are those still making that sacrifice. Just a week ago, a little less than a week ago, Brent Taylor, a father, 7 children. His life was taken by someone he thought was a friend because they were supposed to be on the same side. It's very difficult for me, and probably the most of us, to even comprehend what Mom and those 7 children are going to face in the future. But that has happened so many, many times in the history of America because we have a different spirit. We have a different value of life, I believe, than any other people on earth. There are probably individuals in this room who, at a point in time, a moment in time, performed an action that, had there been the right circumstances, the proper people present, that individual could be wearing the very same medal I have around my neck. But the requirements are set, as they need to be, that it can only be recommended by an officer. I, as an enlisted person, lowly corporal in the Marine Corps, certainly could not make a recommendation that one of my Marine buddies receive the Medal of Honor, although I saw some actions, I believe, that could well qualify. But not only does it require that an officer make the recommendation, it also requires that there be at least 2 witnesses to confirm what the officer is saying took place. 4 Marines and the commanding officer are willing to testify and serve as a witness as to what occurred and what you heard read today. I was just doing a job that the Marine Corps trained me to do. I didn't think I had done anything special at all, because others had done similar things. So there's probably people in this audience that, had the circumstances been different, could very well be the recipient of the Medal of Honor. Better than 50% of the Medals of Honor awarded in our history were awarded because that person sacrificed their life for somebody else. Oh, several individuals come to my mind, but I'm just going to talk about one. Young Marine, Jason Dunham. Jason Dunham was just an average Marine, like the most of us. But he and his squad were guarding a crossroads in Iraq. Their job was to stop the automobiles coming through, to make sure they did not have weapons in the automobile, because they were approaching a more protected area. They stopped this car. One of the individuals jumped out and began running away, and Corporal Dunham had played football in high school, so he was a pretty good tackle, and he chased him down and tackled him. And when he did, a live hand grenade flew out of his hand, and Jason saw that. There were other Marines around him. He jerked off his helmet, put it on the grenade, and then placed his body on the helmet. Some of his buddies were wounded, none killed. But Jason ended up in a coma, flown back to Bethesda Naval Hospital. And with the Commandant of the United States Marine Corps and his family gathered around, they removed Jason's life support. As a result of that action, Jason was awarded posthumously the Medal of Honor. Today, a ship named for Jason is sailing the seven seas. There are so many instances in our armed forces by individuals who could very well have qualified and were worthy of receiving and perhaps wearing the Medal of Honor. Most of us, there are only now 74 of us still living in the great country of America, but most of us feel like we did not do anything special. And what we did do was not for a selfish reason. It was for others. So on Veterans Day throughout this country, throughout America, as it should be, people, citizens, loyal Americans, for that day, remember those who served and those who did not get to come home. What a wonderful place this is to fulfill that observation and respect and the patriotic feeling most of us have and carry with us every day. We couldn't be in a more appropriate place. The president for whom this is named certainly, as the words were read, fully understood what it took to keep us who we are, to recognize those who serve our country in the past and those who are serving today. So thank you all for being here and lifting that spirit that all of us feel in our hearts for all of those who serve and give for our freedom. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Woody. Now it is time for my favorite part of the program, where we recognize all of you who are here today representing different branches of the military. Our orchestra will be playing a service medley. When you hear your branch's song, please stand so that we can salute each of you. In addition, if you are a family member here representing a member of the military, please stand in their place when their branch's song is played so we can remember everyone who has participated or sacrificed in protecting our country's freedom.
Army.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's right, and the Army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the Army goes rolling along. Then it's high, hey, the Army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. 2, 3, 4, up, 2, 3. Wherever we go, you will always know that the Army goes rolling along.
Marines.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land, and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clearly. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
Coast Guard.
We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through howling gale and shot and shell to win the victory. Semper Paratus is our guide, our pledge, our motto too. We're always ready, do or die. I Coast Guard, we fight for you.
Navy.
Anchors away, my boys. Anchors away. Farewell to college shores. We sail at break of day, 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 day. Through our last night ashore, fail to the foam. Until we meet once more, here's wishing you a happy voyage home.
Air Force.
Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come to beat our thunder, and the boys give them the gun. Down we dive, starting our flame from under, off with one terrible roar. We live in fame, or go down in flames, for nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. America, America, God shed His grace on thee. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold revive, till all success in nobleness and every gain divine. America,
I'd just like to remind everyone that all veterans and active members of the military will receive free admission to view the library exhibits, the Air Force One Pavilion, and all of our special exhibits, Pompeii, and a Great American Christmas all day. So thank you all for being with us this morning. We'll conclude today's program with the playing of God Bless America. God bless you all, and happy Veterans Day. Thank you very much.